Hello and welcome. My name is Josh, and this is part 4 of my vlog series of the various horror films I'm watching for the month of October. This particular day, which was October 4th, I watched a Shudder original film called The Seed. I knew nothing about this film when I got it. Most of these films, I've at least heard something, or, I heard about them on YouTube. Someone said something about them, or there were films I was aware of because I'm into film, and you hear about classic horror films and things like that. This film I picked up in a lot, has in a grouping of DVDs I got at an auction. This particular one came with a bunch of the Muppet movies. So obviously horror and the Muppets, they go together so well. This particular film is basically Invasion of the Body Snatchers meets a Cronenberg film, like especially an early Cronenberg film like Society or Rabid. And that sounds interesting. This film, however, though, is not very good. Basically, it's about these three unlikable influencers. Well, two of them are influencers. The third one is their Luddite friend who gets teased because she doesn't, have a modern phone. She uses the flip phone, and she doesn't have social media. Don't worry, none of this factors into the story at all. This is supposed to be, quirky character stuff, but it doesn't factor into anything. And so these three friends are going to have a photo shoot / girls' weekend away at one of their parents' house in the Nevada desert. Apparently, pretty wealthy, owns this weekend house in the desert. And so they go there, and there's going to be a meteor shower that night, and it's a whole big deal about how, I got to live stream myself reacting to the meteor shower. Except, of course, none of their cell phones work or anything like that because of reasons that aren't explained, except that it's something to do with the eventual alien invasion. So they're all outside watching the meteor shower, which is literally just one giant bright light, poorly rendered bright light that goes over a couple of times. And I don't know, I've never seen a meteor shower. I have, ever seen shooting stars. And my understanding of a meteor shower is it's a lot like a singular shooting star, but a lot of them. And they're really far away, and it looks really cool. Not a giant light that just kind of flies over, blinding light that flies over their house several times. But that is apparently the meteor shower. And so while they're outside, they see something crash into the pool of this house. So they go fish it out, thinking, maybe it's a meteor, and it's this type of a creature. And one thing I will give this movie credit for is they actually have pretty good practical effects, which is nice to see, practical effects. It's some type of a creature, and they think that this creature is like an armadillo, because it kind of looks like an armadillo at first. But nobody's like, how did the armadillo get into the pool, or how did it crash land from, they're in a desert. It's lots of flat area, maybe hills and stuff in the far distance, but it's how did it get here? Nobody asked that question. That'd be the first thing I would want to know, is how did this 10, 15 pound, let's say, I don't know how much an armadillo weighs, animal just crash land from above in the pool. So they fish it out, and of course the one girl is very concerned. What will Dad think? There's this disgusting creature that is now leaking stuff all over the ground here. It's going to stain, the property values. And then there's the more bitchy of the three unlikable girls that's let's just get rid of this thing. And for some reason they just decide to just leave it there that night. And when they come out the next day to get rid of it, they find that it has wandered off. And they find it in the bushes, and they realize, this thing is still alive. At which point then we have a discussion between the bitchier of the three girls, who's we must kill it, and then the more likable of our three unlikable characters is like, no, that would be cruel. We don't want it to suffer, even though it's clearly suffering. Like it looks like it's dying. You know, it should just be put out of its misery. Let's instead drag it off into the bushes, and maybe it'll get better. This is literally a paraphrase of a line that is actually said by the character we're supposed to like, is let's take the dying, suffering creature, and instead of putting it out of its misery, let's drag it off into the woods, or bushes, because it's a desert, and, it'll get better, because nature, I guess, not be drug off by coyotes and eaten alive or something. So they do eventually do that. And it turns out that the thing is not dying, that it ends up back inside the house at night, and it starts taking over one by one the various girls, and somehow, through the use of, this is where the Cronenberg aspect comes in, it somehow seduces them and they become pregnant, hence why there's a pregnant woman on the cover with its offspring. And eventually it's down to just the most likable of the three unlikable girls, who then has to essentially tries to kill the creature, which I think she does, and then she tries to kill her two friends because now the creature's dead, they're still under the sway of the creature's influence, who are visibly very pregnant now. And they're trying to get away, because I guess if the girls get away and they give birth or explode or whatever's going to happen to them, the offspring of this creature will then spread and it'll slowly take over the world. And like I said, this movie just isn't that good. I would, if you wanted a better version of this film, what I would recommend would be the obvious ones. Any of the Invasion of the Body Snatcher films, except of course the Daniel Craig, Nicole Kidman one. My favorite is the one from the 70s. I would recommend that one. Or if you want into the body horror aspect, watch any 70s, 80s era Cronenberg film. Society is one this one has the most, is most similar to this. In fact, it even has a quote on the back. It says, "Society meets a cosmopolitan photo shoot." Like I said, I can't recommend this movie. It's dumb and stupid, and not necessarily dumb in a fun-to-watch way. It's just everything in this here has been done so much better in other things. So I don't recommend this.